Hi there. So it's been a while since I've put a video up, and I've been thinking a lot about doing just that. And so I've just decided to go ahead and do it. To sort of give you a recap on where I'm coming from and where I am now, let me just begin by saying I've been a vegan for about 6 years now. And how I started off was first by giving up meat and dairy and all animal products. And, at the time now I was coming out of a Atkins diet. And so I was still trying to keep a high fat, high protein, content in my diet, and low carbohydrate. Like, it was just the way I was doing that for 2 years with Atkins, and to my detriment, by the way. But and after a few months of trying, like frying my vegetables and olive oil, and and still eating junk food too, and drinking too much alcohol, and so I wasn't a healthy vegan when I first started off. But just the radical change from giving up meat, like eating a diet of predominantly meat and dairy, and then just that alone was a radical change for me. But then I decided to go for a physical about a few months after being a vegan, and to my surprise, and I don't know why I was surprised, I was glucose intolerant. And what that means, that's the early stages of diabetes. And so I was quite taken back by that, because I don't know, I just thought that I was always healthy, and even though I was overweight at the time, and I was actually quite unhealthy. But we have our own definitions of what health is, and a lot of times they're completely wrong. So, after understanding what I had and where it would end up if I didn't deal with it, I decided to do some research, and I found a really good book by Dr. Esselstyn. I don't know the title right offhand, but it's basically reversing and healing heart disease. And what was interesting, like the method that Dr. Esselstyn uses for his heart patients, my conclusion was that this would work well for diabetes as well, diabetes 2, that is. And basically what it is, it's a low-fat vegan diet. And now Dr. Esselstyn is not promoting a raw low-fat vegan diet. He was promoting just a low-fat vegan diet, which would consist of rice and pasta, beans, lentil, all those plant-based foods. And so I wasn't even aware of raw at the time. Excuse me for a second. I just talking about raw. I just like to have a drink of my lovely green smoothie here. So under the supervision of a dietitian who was not a vegan, but agreed to cooperate with me and go along with what I was doing. But, she was there to make sure that everything was medically okay. I changed over to this low-fat vegan diet. And that's when I really started to notice change. Now, you got to remember, I was still eating cooked food, predominantly cooked food. But the results were quite spectacular. I was losing weight rapidly. And so that, like, within 3 months, I lost about 30 pounds. And within another couple months, I lost about another 15, 20 pounds. And in total, I lost about 50 pounds. The diabetes also disappeared. It was off the radar. My blood came out clear, Everything was good. It was back to normal again. And my dietitian was actually quite surprised by that, but it worked. So I stayed on that low-fat vegan lifestyle after doing that because it worked so well. And then later on, I discovered the whole raw food movement, and I experimented with, the high-fat raw food, and it just didn't sit right with me, and it didn't go along with what I was already practicing. But I liked the idea of raw, and so accidentally I came across Doug Graham's 80-10-10. Now, oddly enough, that happened what happened was I got an infection in my finger from gardening, from like a little bug, and the infection wouldn't go away, and my finger was just swelling up, and so I had to take antibiotics to deal with that. And then I read that you take antibiotics, you can get candida and all this stuff, and so I looked up about candida and remedies for it, and it was like, you got to eliminate all sugar out of your diet completely, carbohydrates, whatever, just eliminate it. And I thought, this is just too extreme. And then I came across Doug Graham, who was a lifesaver. And I ordered his book because what I read online just seemed so out there that I just had to get the book and find out what is this all about. And when I read his book, 80-10-10, it blew my mind away. At first I thought, this is insane. Eating predominantly fruit and vegetables with some nuts and seeds, and that's it. That's it. It just seemed too far out there. Because that meant like giving up bread, it meant up giving up grains, and at this point I was I was into sprouting and all that kind of stuff. Wow. But it just sounded too good to be true to pass up. So I decided to try it out. And that was, the missing piece to the puzzle, really. And so since then, I've been doing predominantly 80-10-10 style, vegan lifestyle. And it's worked quite well. Now, I did reach a place, and I was putting videos up regularly at that point, and I was at a point now where I was doing 100% raw, low-fat vegan, 80-10-10 style, and boy, was I experiencing the health benefits. I even lost an extra 10 pounds that I didn't even think was necessary, but I looked so much better, and I felt so much better, and I had all levels of energy that I didn't even think were available. I thought I had already tapped into all the energy I could possibly have, but there was more. And I was on top of the world. I really was. Then something hit me out of left field that I just was not anticipating. And when it hit hard. And that was, my marriage was over, and 13 years of marriage done. That was a blow, because my marriage up until then seemed to be pretty good. It came by surprise, and then the next year it was legal battles, and so I stopped putting videos up on YouTube, I just didn't want to bring that baggage on YouTube, not just for my sake, but also for my ex and my children. I didn't want them to be exposed publicly. So I did put a video up last year to let people know what happened. And then since then, it's been a time of healing. Now, so what have I been doing over the winter time and up until now is, it really has been a time of, the battle's over, healing the wounds, taking time to recover. I also sell art. I've been producing a lot of art and selling it on eBay. There's a link below if you're interested in looking at that. And so yeah, and my self-confidence was just flattened out. And so I'm literally at this point in my journey rebuilding myself. But I still follow that 80-10-10 lifestyle, and I eat predominantly fruits and vegetables with some nuts and seeds. Now, that being said, I'm not 100% raw. I do occasionally like to eat cooked food, but again, it's vegan, and I try to keep it as low fat as possible. It's not often, but I do like occasionally to eat cooked food. Maybe one day I'll reach a place where I won't need that anymore. And going through this healing process too, I found at one point I was starting to allow more high-fat treats. They were vegan, but they were high-fat treats like vegan ice cream, for example, into my diet, which I normally would not have allowed. And it was like I needed that for the time being, just to insulate myself from the pain. But now I'm at the place again where I don't need that anymore. And so I don't know where you are, and if you're doing 80-10-10, if you're struggling with it or whatever, all I can say is just be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. And what really matters is not don't get too caught up in, I got to do 100% raw. That can be misleading itself. There's no proof that 100% raw will guarantee longevity or optimal health. And in fact, I have seen people who do 100% raw that are not healthy. I'm sorry, but it's what they're eating. And, if you eat some cooked food, as long as it's low fat and vegan and it's plant-based and it's nutrient rich, you're going to be pretty healthy. And that's what's really important here. Why are you doing this? It's because you want to be healthy. You want to have a life of health and vibrance. You want that energy, right? That's what you want. You want to feel alive. You want every cell in your body to feel alive, right? So that's what's important here. Okay, maybe 100% raw is what you're aiming for. I have that as an aim as well myself, but there's still a part of me, I don't know why, but occasionally I like to eat a cooked meal. Maybe again, one day that may change, but if it doesn't, I'm not gonna beat myself up for it. I'm really happy with where I am now from where I came from. It's been good, and especially what I've gone through in the last couple of years, and being able to maintain that lifestyle through it. In fact, if anything, it is what has sustained me through it. Not just that alone. Not diet. Diet alone is only one part of the equation. And I can get into the other parts that are probably more important than diet. But I think I've talked long enough. I'm happy to be back, and I plan on putting more videos up, so stay tuned. Have a great day. God bless.